It's Monday, July 1st, 2019. We're at Hurricane Ridge. In the Olympic Mountains, part of the national park. We're almost at the same altitude as the ridge of peaks off in the distance, 6,000 feet. You can see folks down at the overlook enjoying the view. Okay, here we have a marquee of peaks. Quite a few of them. Probably the most obvious one is Steeple Rock. So we can go on up to that. Steeple Rock, very close. Here's an excellent depiction of the northern part of the Olympic Peninsula. We start here. We've got the Strait of San Juan de Fuca, which separates the peninsula from Vancouver Island. That runs basically east-west, and then of course to the west you have the Pacific Ocean. This area down here is pretty much the whole rainforest region, with Lake Ozette. And if you continue running from the west to the east, then you find the mountains, and the highest peak, of course, being Mount Olympus, 7,980 feet. We are on the ridge located in this position here. It's even marked. We're here. We look south and to the west from the ridge, which we climbed out of Port Angeles. You can see Mount Olympus. So, and the rest of the ridge line is all around this area here that we depicted earlier. To get to the ridge, you go to the town of Port Angeles, you head due south, you climb 6,000 feet, and then you end up at what is called Hurricane Ridge. And there are other ridges in the region, Klahanie Ridge. So you can see there's a great piling up of mountains here, where a couple of plate activities must have occurred from the Pacific Ocean. The interesting part about this whole region are all the various bays and inlets that run in along what is called the Sound, Puget Sound area. It's a magnificent location. We also enjoyed Lake Crescent, which we spent some time at as well, which is not too far from the Juan de Fuca Strait. Okay, we're going to do a little quick tour of the Olympic Mountain Ridge ahead of us. And basically, having reviewed it a little better, the image starts with Steeple Rock, right here at about 5,600 feet. As we sweep along, the marquee ahead of me will end with Mount Fitzhenry. That's at about 6,000 feet, and that's this mountain peak over here.
Oh yeah, sure, thank you.
There's a key ridge in front of us. It's called the Long Ridge, and that's this ridge that runs down here in the distance. And you can see this slide of rock just above the Long Ridge. So that's another identifying point on this marquee that's in front of us, because you can see the corresponding rock slide right there. There's a whole range of peaks in the distance, ranging from 6,000 feet at Mount Fitzhenry, going to Mount Carey at almost 7,000. And then in the distance is Mount Olympus, the highest point in the Olympic Mountains at 7,980, or almost 8,000 feet. So as we sweep along, above the long ridge, there's Mount Stephen. I think that's Stephen Peak to the left of the Blue Glacier and Mount Olympus. It continues, and I'm not going to give you a one-to-one correspondence here. Above the long ridge, there's Stephen Peak at 6,500, Mount Ferry at 6,200, Ludden Peak, a little closer and lower, it's 5,800, Mount Seattle at 6,300, there's Dodger Point at 5,800, Mount Dana is above the Elwha River Valley, and that's that ridge down there below, and that's at 6,200. You get to Chimney Peak, Crystal Peak, more distant at 6,900 feet, Mount Anderson at 7,300, McCartney Peak, 6,800, Mount Cameron at 7,200, then we end up at Mount Deception at 7,800, it must be very distant, and then continuing along to Obstruction Peak at 64 or 6,500 until finally return to Steeple Peak. This entire run of the ridge is about 120 degrees in expanse. And we back out a little bit. Can't capture it all in the camera, but that's the run of the peaks here in the Olympic Mountains. And these mountains lie due south of the point we're currently at. Roughly due south is right about here above the Elwha River Valley.